Alright, this week's video is going to be updates to Mono White, continuation to my last week's article about Mono White and you. Just for reference, this is the basic list. It pretty much runs 21 1-drops to ensure that you are the aggressive deck, and then it runs annoying, hard to remove creatures like Adanto Vanguard, and then it buffs them with Benalish Marshal, and then it whammy combos them with multiple History of Benalias and Venerated Loxodon. Conclave is just awesome removal, plays around a lot of stuff, and just your basic part. This was the grindier sideboard match. We had the Mythic Championship over the past weekend, so I'm just kind of play some games and then kind of talk about some of the changes or just directions that you can take with Mono White. And pretty much the consensus always comes down to where people are like, I'm going to splash blue, I'm going to splash red, because it's going to be just that much better, they think, because like, oh, I'm going to get Experimental Frenzy, I'm going to get Teferi Time Ravel so that you can't kill me, or I'm going to play some counter spells. Now those are situationally good, and they might ebb and flow, but at the core of the deck, the core and all those lists always ends up being this package. Normally you trade some conclaves for Gideon's main deck. Sometimes you shave on a couple 1-drops like Snubhorn. He's not that great in multiples unless you can really get a quick ascend. You'll find that they normally just move a couple Gideon's main deck, and pretty much that's it. You see Gideon, you see Conclave Tribunal, and whatnot. You can kind of see that here. I'll go to one of the decks. This is the deck that did get #1 on MTG Arena before the Mythic Championships. I can't remember this player's name, but he did play in the Mythic Championships, and this is what he ended up going with. So some of the main deck choices, again, here's your -1 Snubhorn, and then he cut one Adanto for this, which this does survive, I guess, in a metagame that you're worried about Nissa putting counters on lands. I guess it can give you an edge, and it does survive Wrath effects that -2, -2. It really does survive that. And then, of course, Gideon Blackblade is very strong to actually attack Esper Hero, which ended up being a very dominant deck type at the tournament. And right now we have just 3 Conclave Tribunals. So that's kind of what you're going to see right here. The sideboard doesn't change too much. You're going to normally see Baffling End, you're going to see Tocatli, so you beat up on all your value type green creature decks. Then you have another Blackblade, another Tomik, and you have Prison Realm, and you have Ajani for grinding matches, and a couple extra removals, then a Lyra for your red decks or your girl decks that pop up. But other than that, the core of the deck really doesn't ever end up changing. You do have other options, so you have Wet Weenies, anything splashing blue. Now this one's a little different version. It runs the Gideon and the Conclave, and then everything else is the same. It's my one of my decks that I do like. It's not the one from Li Shitian, who ended up making like 5th or something. His deck was very good. He wasn't running Spell Pierce, wasn't running Dovin's Veto. He was running just 1 Teferi, I think, out of the board, and then 1 Disdainful Stroke. That was his only blue splash. So again, like I said, your splashes are what they are. There was also another Japanese player that was running Experimental Frenzy and Tybalt. It's debatable. I know that it did good in the SCG, whether you should run Experimental Frenzy and then the anti-life gain. Let's just be honest. This is a white deck. It just deploys a bunch of creatures and then says, do you have a Wrath or don't you have a Wrath? If you don't have a Wrath, the game ends up very quickly. If you stumble on mana, the game ends very quickly. It really doesn't ask too much of the opponent. So there's really one of those things. This one, I like that it has a couple other Spell Pierces and Vetoes just to stop that, but it's actually kind of weak versus Esper Hero. It probably needs another Gideon's Blackblade. You could probably cut this. I think Dovin's Veto should probably just be Disdainful Stroke, unless you're really after countering Wrath. This is just to tempo out a quick Wrath or any type of quick removal that you want to protect some of your key spells in those matchups. But other than that, I mean, it's the basic deck. I mean, there's not much that changes. It's just whether you put Gideon in the main or you cut some Conclaves because they're kind of dead against the Esper Heroes, because they're just going to cycle through a lot of their Planeswalkers and then just bring them back with Command the Dreadhorde. So it's one of those type of things. So that's pretty much where White's kind of sitting at right now. I personally just prefer the vanilla part the best. It ends up just being a solid mana base. I'll probably end up playing some games that we can watch right here. We might just test this version right here and just kind of see if it has anything, because it is a good deck for the meta. It does have the right sideboard configuration for what you're looking at. So with that, we're going to get on and complete some dailies. Haven't been able to play in a while. So we got white and white. Perfect. Now, I will go back. I will digress. If you are smart, you should play this deck. This deck requires a high skill level to play, but it has the most consistent from one player that it is the best white weenie aggro deck. I know it has green in here, but it's pretty much just here's your pump, here's your ability to go the long game, and then here's your life gain. But it pretty much just plays out like a regular white weenie deck with Sapling Migration, Legion's Landing, Thorn Lieutenant, Amara, and History of Benalia. This allows you to fetch more lands so you can play Mortal Suns on curve. And that's about it. It runs 21 lands. Sideboard can be configured to whatever you think the metagame is. There was one green-white tokens deck in the Mythic Championships this past weekend, but I don't think she did that well playing it. I didn't even get to see the match coverage or anything else like that. Maybe some highlights or something. Maybe I could follow her stream and then see if there's actually what she had to say. But from what I've been told and what I've seen when I've talked to a lot of other people that play, that if you're just looking to play an aggressive deck that does have the ability to transition into a mid-range deck based on the metagame, then this would be your white weenie deck of choice with a simple switch to late game, March of the Multitudes and everything. And then you have some abilities to destroy enchantments, destroy red, and then beat down some of that. So it's debatable to see whether this ends up being. I might play some games with that as well. So with that, we're gonna get on to it. So good thing we're starting off. We just have to cast green and or white spells double time. So that's good for us. I got a little background music in that, so hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah, I was playing some red deck. So what will we start with? We'll start with the Mythic one, and we'll play that. Oh. We didn't select, did we? Let's make sure we selected here just to make sure that we are in the correct one. Good, traditional ranked. Perfect. Sorry for the miscues. But other than that, I mean, white's just in a good place. It just answers a good question. Now, there's a debate that the red deck might have been the best deck to play. I think when Shinhar was playing the top 4, he did in fact have lethal in game 1 had he sequenced in a different way, i.e., swinging for 4, it would have made the guy have to pop, or he had to have had the game sense enough to pop his blast zone. So we'll keep this one. It's a pretty decent opener, protection, early quick drops. He could have popped it, killed the 2 Jitu lava runners. We'll just play a naked one just to get in damage if they're kind of slow. And he did have the possibility, but the guy would have to have the game sense. But if he would have slowed it down, and again, we're probably going to play against a lot of it, you just end up overwhelming. We're going to go for the longer game here because I really want to turn on that. But I think we might even actually no. We're actually gonna beat down because I'd rather trade out for their mana creature. Whatever, block me. So there was a possibility that he could have ended up taking game 1 if his opponent was on the ball. I mean, he won game 2, so it is very interesting to see kind of what. So it looks like we're playing against Command the Dreadhorde. Yeah, it is Command the Dreadhorde deck. So it'd be kind of interesting. Hopefully we can top deck a Conclave. That would be really good. All right. What should we do? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that you probably want to just do Benalish just to start really getting some damage in because they're about to gain a ton of life and make a big blocker. So, they block there. No, just those two. We'll get those guys in. So yeah, that's what I think the red deck was well positioned for the tournament. Put it going down to 10. Most likely has Branch Walker or Jade Light. So yeah, I think that was a very close game. Those are the games that you're kind of in. The white decks that I saw on camera, and I watched most of those matches. Yep, gained that 6. One of those things, the white decks that I saw man, they had the worst luck. Like, the worst luck in terms of gameplay, because most of the times this deck, it wants to draw 3 lands and then it never wants to draw any more lands after that. So here, definitely spotting a removal, so we'll just do this first. We'll see if we get an activation out of it. Yep, smart. It's like I read the game. Alright, cool. We'll pump that. Now, sequencing, we could have probably done some other things. We'll just do indestructible and pass. Not too much. So the white decks on camera, they just had a very bad time. They drew like 6 to 7 lands in the first 10 cards, and that pretty much just kills your deck. Because like here, when you get into these stalemates, they just wait and they just cast Hydroid Colossus and they sit behind an army. So you have to end up having to fight through a lot of their stuff, and then hopefully you end up winning a longer attrition-wide game, which isn't unwinnable. You just need a lot of help, like here. So here we have to deploy a lot to the board. It is a bad because we can't really... So here we don't really have too much because that guy's trample. Gideon won't be able to ultimate uptick. It's kind of one of those bad things. But we could transition into flipping of a landing, block, indestructible. Gids is indestructible. So we'll serve just to get an extra. Just to flip line, you really want to start transitioning and getting some more pressure on there. You'll lose 1 creature in this attack. And hopefully push in 3 damage. Yep. You lose 1. And take him down. This is kind of the attrition game that you're going to end up playing with it. Right now, because we haven't seen a Conclave Tribunal, he does have the ability to get life, and he has Hydroid Grasses. We're just going to kind of wait and see what he has going on. So yeah, it pretty much becomes a moot point at this point. They can kind of attack freely and get in there. Yeah, Tamio's good, but this is the kind of games you're going to have when you get a resolved walker. But yeah, I mean, overall, the white decks did perform pretty well. There was a decent number of people in, say, the top 16 that were a white variant of the deck. I think the blue and the red version were there. But yeah, there's just definitely different ways that you can actually end up taking. Yeah, because it want me to activate, because I'll kill that guy. Yep, it is what it is.
Do not frighten me.
Let's see if we can draw a Conclave. Kind of late. Kind of late. Alright, go wide plan. And gets us kind of stranded.
I believe.
So I would just pass it here. Again, he's already at almost 20, and we can't remove, and Gids is going to die. It would have been good to activate, and that would have been a good swing to start kind of putting pressure. But with this, he's just going to name Hydroid, and then he's just going to make fat creatures, and there's not much we can do about it. And you can see he's really respecting the go wide plan, or he has a Hydroid in hand. So we'll see. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty much over here. But we have our dailies, so we're just going to continue playing white creature spells. Alright. There's Benalish. Maybe the sequencing could have been better. It's that. Alright, we'll sequence like this. And you can see, like, Gideon really doesn't do too much in this one. We don't have any good attacks either, so we'll just pass back. Yeah, Gideon, it could be something else. I think it could probably be a Conclave. Yep, Tamio. See what he names. Excuse me. Alright, let's see what you got. What are we naming? So we can at least play around in game 2. Command the Dreadhorde. That's a good choice. That is a good choice. Yep. Gain more life. accomplishing that daily goal. Yep. Yeah, I'll go bottom. He's hunting. I'll go bottom. Yep. Gate's big. Big one. Yep. And he's worried about the going wide. So yeah, you pretty much end up losing these games. Once your opponent plays cautious.
Another day, village.
That's about it. This would have been better earlier. It would have controlled some of these other creatures like this and that. So we just didn't have anything here. So we'll just pass. I'm just doing this just to get some daily rank ups, but I want to see if they have anything unique. But it looks like just a basic Command the Dreadhorde type deck. Nothing special here.
To the library.
So with that, I'll pull up my handy dandy sideboard guide. Yep, there it is. And we'll get ready for game 2. So sideboard guides are good just to help you get everything that you need. Kind of take a look at that. Sideboard guide, yep, Command the Dreadhorde. So, yep, gets lots of stuff, yep. Seems like good targets. It's a good board. Yep, resolve all. Another Hydroid. Yeah. This deck is so much fun. It's like a Timmy's dream. It's like, it really is like the Timmy deck. Like really pure Timmy deck. Sweet.
I will lend you my strength.
So for the sideboard, we're looking to bring in, bring out Benalish Marshal, bring out Conclave, bring out Snubhorn, bring out Venerated, bring in Tocatli, Baffling End, and Unbreakable. That was the old list. We'll see what we have to play with here. Gideon definitely wasn't even a point. So, yep. Take this, see if we draw another white spell. No. Looks like it'll be over. But what a good draw. At least the good thing is we did not draw a lot of lands. Probably should have tapped that. Because then you can activate, and that's it. So we'll go on to the sideboard. So yeah, so we're going to bring out Marshal. We're going to bring out Conclave. We'll bring out Snubhorn and bring out Venerated. So one Venerated comes out. Bring out 2 Conclave. Bring out Marshal. And bring out Snubs. So it changes into Baffling, Tocatli, and then we have one other spot to actually bring in. I could see keeping this in, depending, but we did kind of cut down on our 1-drops. Your big thing is trying to figure out like where we can actually get. You could bring in Prison Realm, but sometimes you have this mixed balance between creatures and spells. You really only need a few. So I think we could probably just bring in that. They might bring in Cries just because it would give us an extra 1-drop. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 17 1-drops. Now we're doing this cutting because this guy's kind of mediocre. As you can see, doesn't attack. And this, we just on a wombo combo. On the draw, we might switch it back up and go more aggressive. But overall, I think this is pretty fun. I mean, it's going to play like a White Weenie deck. We didn't see this guy till late, which would have allowed us to sneak in extra damage. We don't really want them to go long because Command the Dreadhorde has changed this type of deck. So we don't have anything else special. We still have a Miser's Conclave. We could change it to up our creature count to 18 because there's not a lot. So we could up to 18 on the play. That does work. But other than that, I mean, there's not too much that you're looking at. You're mainly looking at using this to get rid of their threats and then just swing in. So, alright, we'll submit with that. Excuse me. So we'll see if we end up pushing through on this one. It's kind of an interesting choice. Yep, on the play again, which is good, and we have a good opener. It's not the best, but good overall. Good early pressure. I think we'll go with Law-Rune just to get around Llanowar Elves. Then we can follow up with Snubhorn and Legions. That might be better, because we don't have anything else. I think we want to flip. Oh, no. They're probably just going to untap. So, we'll just swing in here. Because they might be digging for land. So I think the best play is that. Because otherwise they'll access. Because we can stop them from lands early. They'll get blanked themselves. Which is good for us. Alright, got some options here. So we'll attack first. Now, one thing we have to worry about is Massacre Girl. She is very good. Now, do I want to turn on Legions? I don't think I do. Yeah, I was misplay there. That's the thing. Always think through your turns, because then you can just make this guy like Vigilance. And then you can always block back. Little things like that do add up. This way. So, did it even... Alright, we want to really protect this guy.
Share in my light.
I don't know what else he could really have. I mean, they rarely run pump. So we'll do Vigilance. Make sure that you play your stuff out smarter. Yeah. Miscue all around on that one. So, probably going to play that. Yep. Cast down. Not much you can do there. If we would have played Legions, doubtful that it would have worked anyway. So, Flyer. Flyer. Go. And miscue. Yeah, we should have had an untapped land. And we would have got to play it a little bit better. So, Jade Light digging for lands. So they're running this. Yeah, these guys have been running this version. Command. That's probably going to go to the bin. Alright, let's play this smart. Semi-smart. This one. This is the only one. Give Vigilance. Alright, so that was pretty easy right there. So Gid does play, but as you can see, it's not that much. We just swarm them, like I said, and you do it. So on the draw, we're definitely going to want to make sure we have this, but Baffling and Tocatli are definitely going to be better mulligan things. Gideon, we might want to, but they do bring in Thrashing Brontodon, so they can destroy enchantments. So it's kind of like you really just want to like kill it and then not have something hidden like under a Conclave. You just really want to permanently remove the creature and not have like a ability to get blown out that way. So I think this is a good configuration here. It worked pretty good. You still, because you're really betting on these two cards to grind them out, and then some air flyers and then Gids doing stuff. If we play Gids smarter, let's see. Let's do this. Let's do this. But as you can see, like it's one of those things. Like if you just stop their early game stuff and they don't have a good removal for it, or they have to keep digging for their answers, you just swarm the board and win. I keep this. Good pressure, good removal, and then some evasion. So it should be work out pretty good. That, of course, was a excellent draw. Can't ask for better than that. It is one of the signature cards of the deck. And it's also really good when you see them playing really tap lands. So we'll just throw out a Adanto because it attacks the best. So if they untap and go like Jade Light or something, it is what it is. So we can still attack through it. Minus this guy. This guy can't. So maybe he's playing a... probably playing a removal heavy hand. So we'll play around that. I don't think we're going to run this guy out. I think we'll run out the flyer just because it does survive a Cryocanarium. And we could be right. We didn't see any hostage takers, so we just see a regular Hydroid. That's cool. It doesn't present any reason for me to play anything else different. Well, no reason to deploy that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we'll just trade in. He only has 1 block. Yep. That's fine. So, options here. We could now go for the Tocatli. And if he is trying to gain some value, we'll just stop him there. At least make him have to spend a removal spell on it. And he's already at 9, and we already have 2 really annoying creatures to deal with. Yep. So here, I don't think I can target... exile target creature controls, so I think we can. I think we can hit, destroy that. But man, not hitting another land drop is kind of rough. Because it would allow us to do present lethal this turn, I think. Sorry, excuse me. Alright, and our computer just conceded. So, that was a good comeback. So, see, even when you lose game 1 right there. Again, I haven't played him forever. Hopefully I do rank up to Mythic this time. Really haven't been playing too much. But yeah, that just shows you like just the versatility of the deck. And we were able to maximize. We could have probably totally completed that daily. I've been like just opening packs like crazy. I killed all my gold and stuff. I really don't care for the draft portion on Arena. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, you just kind of see how it is. Even with your like behind on game states and you lose game 1 because they draw like the most insane curve. Your game 2 is just, this is a creature, you normally can't remove it, or this is a counter to yours. I'll just attack into it. I mean, I can't imagine what they had in their hand. It just doesn't make much sense with that keep or even that scoop. So I'm just kind of wondering what it is. Again, of course, you always want to see that screen. Here you have to send it back. You don't have anything special. This is probably your worst. You have to hit a land in the top 2 to actually salvage this hand. We'll keep it. It is a better 1-drop, but I think you need to really hit another land. I don't think you should keep that just to get an extra pressure. You're already slow as it is, so the opponent will already know that you're slow because they know you have better openings than that. So it looks like we're playing against Girl, which is good. Game plan is to go wide. So hopefully we hit our land on time. If not, it's going to be a really quick game. We do have Conclave, which is great against the Rekindling Phoenixes and whatnot. So it's a good matchup. I don't consider it really a bad matchup. So they're running the Incubation Druid version. And of course, like clockwork, we do not hit our land, which is damage adding up is bad. They didn't hit their land too, so. But the benefit for them is that they have mana creatures. So me, it would have been backbreaking to drop a Benalia that turn, and then a follow-up with a Marshal and a Conclave, and the game would have pretty much just been out of reach. But hopefully they just kept a really greedy hand. But I can only assume would be, yeah, so that. Yeah, we're probably going to want to remove that, otherwise we're going to get blown out. So we'll do our basic. It just makes their creatures so good. Like I can't explain how good that card is sometimes. We could have hit a mana creature, but I'd rather just them not making stuff because there's a lot of nasty stuff that Girl can come in and then haste and then just swipe your whole team. So we got 9 permanents. Yep. And it might be just a different version. So yeah, this getting haste, yeah, would have been crazy. Yeah, we'll keep the land in hand. That'd be good. Yeah, a good lethal attack there. So again, those are the things. So for Gruul, let's take a look at my list. Right now, I pretty much have out Adanto in Baffling. Adanto being one of those ones that just doesn't really do too much, because if you're on the draw, it pretty much costs you life. I have cited in Lyra just to get around. I will bring in another Conclave just because they might have other things. I'll bring out Tomik, and Gideon on the draw is kind of bad, so I have another Baffling and then a Lyra. We'll keep everything in here. So we have Venerated, Lyra, History. This is fine. It just helps buff your team. There's not a lot of other things that you would want to bring in its place. The argument could be you could cut Benalish for Gideon at that point, but really, I like this ability that they have to answer him, and this may or may not prove, but we can test it out. We can kind of see what they play. They are playing a Rhythm of the Wild deck, so I'm not 100% sure on their list. Is not the basic Gruul matchup. Most Gruul, they're just going to grind out your creatures, which would make you want to bring Gideon in over Benalish because they'll just Lightning Strike this or Lava Coil him. So it's just one of those things that we could think about in Game 3 if there is a Game 3 and whatnot. So let's see what we're up against. But yeah, it's a Rhythm. It just didn't hit any lands, so I'm pretty sure they had a decent amount of stuff. So yeah, of course we're going to send this one back. Tempting to keep with a bunch of ads. Greedy keep. I think we can draw that. We have drop, drop, drop. So shock coming off the top. So they're gonna just let them shock all your creatures. It really doesn't matter. Excuse me. Shock. Shiv and fire. All right, going for the big boys. So he is planned on going for our bigger creatures that we'll make. Alright, multiple. These would look silly if they were Gideons. So we'll see. Really need that land, but again, it's that balance. At least we haven't completely flooded out like white does normally. Okay, it's cool. Alright, so I think here we'll just go... I think we'll do this. We'll do it the other way. We'll do Benalish, get an attack. Just because he won't trade. He does trade. Cool, good for me. But he has a lot of card draw right there. So whenever he casts a creature spell, he's just going to draw a lot of cards. So definitely not a standard tier list, but definitely gold. So maybe if he does spend a turn removing it, he's not playing a creature. Guess that's good. So we'll surprise him again. And we'll just pressure his life total for right now. I don't... If he's spending time to tap out for Banefire and stuff against me, then I'm just going to pressure your life total and put you in a situation where you either choose the removal or you let me swarm you. So that's a good draw. Yep. Really cool. You can see the combos and funds. Cool. Yeah, and now their card advantage is just going to overpower us. Yeah, we'll just continue pressuring life total. Wow. That's aggressive. Alright, what can we kill? I think you just get rid of this guy. And the growth chamber would be good, but him drawing cards is the only thing that I'm really worried about here. There's not much. I mean, he's going to have card advantage here, but it's going to at least cost mana. At least not every time he's playing. So, it could be arguments for Benalia there. But, really tough to come back when the opponent's drawing like 3 cards a turn and has that in there. They're just going to outswarm you. So, let's see. Plus, we do have answers to this. This one, we have a little hard parts. Okay, cool. Taps for each elf. Yep, got lots of elves. Elf. Not an elf. Elf. Crab. Warrior. Yep. Producing a ton of mana. It gets a free block in there. So opponent goes 7. We're able to put a good pressure on his life total, but we might be too far behind. Depends what he does with his mana sink. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has a ton of things. Maybe it's just for the adapt mechanic, and maybe we'll get there with some flying. I don't know. It's an interesting deck. It's an interesting thing to think about. We'll clog the ground and slow it down. These guys will get big. So you have Beast Whisperer. Yep. Cool. Okay. It's a Vanquisher's banner. Interesting. Gonna get swarmed. He has chosen the card Elf. Alright, do we have any attacks? No. Man, I'm wondering if we shot ourselves in the foot here with not dumping Benalia's earlier. The deck definitely helped us out this game. Only 6 lands into that. Maybe there's room if we would have had better attacks. Bet he doesn't have an answer to a flyer, though. But we'll see. But he does have Beast Whisperer, too, so any creature he gets just produces insane mana. Yep. So I'm going to draw a card for banner. So this is not your typical, this is not a Gruul deck by any stretch of the imagination. Do we sideboard into it? Nah. And it's not legendary, which is cool. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh, we're getting pumped. There's a lot of stuff we could draw. There's our Lyra. Alright, does he have any good blocks? Well, he can adapt, and everything does swing good. So let's think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have a Lyra. And he has to block all of it, so he does have to block. Everything kills everything of his, so you'd kill this. So worst case, you would kill. So he has one. So he can adapt here. Can't adapt there. So yeah, I think everything attacks here. There's no reason not to, because there's no good blocks, then adapts, and then yeah, might as well. Yeah, the worst case you lose Benalish, but everything is a lethal attack here. So we go 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can't block flying, so he can do some double blocks, but you're gonna kill every one of his creatures that he does block with you on it. Which is good because it looks like he's trying to outpower you back, and we might just win on the back of flying, being able to deploy a second flyer here. Unless he has something that's like fight at instant speed, and then I'm going to get utterly blown out. But I don't think that's his deck type. I don't think. So I would say it looked like he was setting up for an adapt on the Growth Chamber Guardian. That'd be the only logical reason with 3 mana. So double block on there. I think we just kill the incubation. The potential to be the biggest. Yep. It does become a 6/6. I miscounted. So good whenever 1 or more, so it can trigger itself a lot. Yep. So we'll lose Benalish. Goes to 1. We'll play our Lyra. And then hopefully win on flying. Hopefully win. Yep. Draws cards. Good news is, at least we stopped him drawing 4 cards. That is the good news. At least we stopped the 4-card combo. Yep. Maybe he has a reach. Doesn't look like it. That green equal to its power. It's a lot of power. Should be able to cycle through its entire deck, I would assume. Produce 10 mana. Do you have a flyer blocker? Not sure. I would assume you'd just be able to cycle through the entire deck. Got nothing I can do. Yeah, sure. Do it. Some crazy, like, instant kill combo. I mean, he has to have a way to cast. Like, he taps, he produces 9 mana. Okay, didn't have an answer to the flyers. That was an interesting deck. Again, like, just push them to beat what you present. I mean, I don't think we sideboarded wrong. I think it was okay. I just think that they just didn't draw what they needed to. I don't know what that was. They were drawing like 5 cards a turn. So it definitely seems kind of weird. Ooh, we'll take a break. And we'll do a pack opening. Alright, sweet. What did we get? What did we get? Meh, meh, meh. 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 Ooh, Command the Dreadhorde. Alright, sweet. So yeah, that was just kind of one of those weird things where I'm not sure what their ultimate goal was with that, with all that mana production, and then they had the card draw and everything. Maybe it was just one of those decks just to grind arena, maybe to complete dailies or something. But it didn't hit his finish. We didn't see it, or he didn't draw it in the cards that he had. So who knows what ended up actually happening of that. So let's see if we're on the play. No, we're not on the play. Alright. It's a good hand. Adanto Vanguard on the draw. 1 drops into Conclave. Pretty standard keep. We'll probably not protect the Vanguard. So this one, yeah, we're going to push damage. Because most likely it's another Command the Dreadhorde deck. So let's see how this ends up working out. Yep, take 2. Yep. Seems fun. Yeah, so it's Command the Dreadhorde. We'll, of course, greedily attack into it. Sweet. Trade it out early. Because my hand depends on whether I hit a 3rd mana. It doesn't matter what you have. I'm not trying to get a send. I just need a 3rd mana. Yep. Always there. Alright, we did do it. Now, normally you would want to play History, but if you let him gain a ton of life, you almost always lose the game. Almost always. So always take the Conclave and get rid of it. If he traded and then played, he either just drew it or he had some other line in mind. So there's no point in letting him gain 6 life and also filtering his deck. And again, your guy doesn't really care because it can attack through everything but a gigantic Wild Growth Walker. So we will play the long game and go double Benalia. It's slower. And the only thing of not trading, but we stopped him on mana, we're not too worried about a lot of stuff. So he's going to search for a permanent, gain some life. But yeah, stopping Wild Growth shenanigans is one of the easier ways to steal a game 1 when they get it. Because it looks like he's got an okay hand. I'm not sure if they are running main deck Massacre Girls. But we're going to just start going wide with Histories. Followed up with a pump. Yep, no blocks. See, here I almost want to slam Benalish just to be greedy, because it pushes that. But I think we're going to go double History. Let's think through this. We do this, we get extra damage. He goes to 17, or goes to 11. Then it pops, and then you have potential to do other things. If this, and this does push more damage, which might be the right call. Alright, we'll do this. We don't have anything to flip this, and I think I really want to make sure that I ascend and then flip the Legion's Landing. So let's see. Big turn here. Could have been a good idea to put him to 11, so command the Dread Horde. Yeah, he had the Massacre Girl. So this will wipe the board. So this would have been 1, 3. Yeah, I would have wiped everything. So it looks like we're wiping everything. I'm trying to see if there's another way. So yeah, the play makes sense with this. So it's better to keep what we had. Ah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't count. But I think that's better to deploy those threats. It would have been nice to have hit a Loxodon on that. That would have been better one. Better play. Yeah, Teferi, not really worried about that.
I can no longer stand by and watch. Reverse!
I think we can greedily sacrifice to get Teferi off. What does? See, Snubhorn did his job. I think it's a better play, a stronger play to get Teferi off. It seems like he's struggling. He had 2 cards in hand, so this one most likely always just bounces a token. Doesn't matter anyway. Search. Sure. Don't know why he did that. I mean, maybe he's got Command the Dread Horde in there. Yeah, he's probably setting up for a Command the Dread Horde. That's the only reason he's letting me destroy so many creatures. It's the only thing I can think of that would make sense. Because he has this to gain back all the life. But we can put some good pressure back on him. That was a good read by us to see that he did have the one of Massacre Girl. I think they only run 1. It's kind of weird. I wonder what he names. Okay. Well, he just gets back. So just generally delaying us with BS.
Don't worry, I got it.
So we deploy this and this, hopefully. Interesting.
I am here to aid in the assault.
Give this guy vigilance.
I believe in you, friend.
Alright, who do we go after? That's the bigger threat. No, we don't have it. Alright, tap her. Oh, he's gotta learn how to count. This deck is so annoying when it gets like going. It's like Planeswalkers dominating everything.
Don't be surprised if we meet again.
Yep. There it is.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think this game is very close still. A lot of stuff we can do. Knights are getting big. What does he name?
I noted this somewhere.
I wonder if it's wrong with attacking. Attacking planeswalkers. Do we look that up? I mean, that kills. Huh, wonder what they could have here. We could double block. But it really doesn't matter, I don't think. I think we just go to 6. What is the biggest threat? That's probably biggest. That's probably biggest. It's a Fury, not the biggest.
I won't forgive this.
And we again. I've been missing our Venerated Loxodons.
I've got time.
I think we do the night. Can't stop flying. Go to 2. Loxodon's just gonna sit in my hand the whole game. Removal. What do they run? I don't even know. I haven't actually made it this far in a game with these decks. Normally it's just over. Either they combo off and do all their stuff. I mean, he pitched a Dreadhorde. That's alright. Yeah, he can just do that. So that's going to be the game. So yeah, instant speed to Fairy. Commander Jordan, we didn't get that Loxodon down, but worry not. We're going to stop everything that he does. Alright, so there's our sideboard right there. So out Benalish. Out Conclave. Out Snubs. I think we'll keep 1 Snubs. Out. Brings us 61. Out Venerated. So we still have a early clock. Probably bring in another flyer. And probably cut this other Conclave. But I think that's pretty good. So I have Gids. And it's pretty much the same, more or less the same sideboarding. And that's it. Just depends on kind of what you saw versus them. But again, the games go long like that. That's why you can't grind them out. Is that I think that if they didn't have a card like Command the Dreadhorde, then we would have eventually won that game. This isn't a bad keep. 4 lands is kind of sketch, but it's got answer, and threat. So in itself, it's pretty strong. But yeah, very weird to lose that. Maybe I just misplayed it badly. I'd have to watch it in the replay, but I can't imagine that it was just that. But this is what happens when you don't draw any threats. You just end up tempoing yourself out. Yeah, 5 lands is kind of like the death knell to this deck. Oh, good, sweet. And 6 lands. Then we'll just keep putting 1 pressure down. See if we had more 1-drops. Would have been a better clock. Yep, 9. Such a good draw. Such a good draw. Thank God for that top deck. Because otherwise the game would have ended bad. Yep.
You would make an excellent informant for my study.
This tab, you can't play anything. Name it away.
Let me aid your research.
What are we naming? Did not hit cast down. What can he get back? We can't put enough pressure on that, so like they still get it back and they go to 1. They get Teferi. Right? Let's take a look at this. Territory card, yep, it's powerful. I think we could just pressure life total. I mean, alright, we put it down, it goes to 4. Then he activates it, gets to Teferi to return it. Yeah. We'll do that. I think that'll work.
Do not harm my scrolls.
I think that's fine.
Seek and find.
So really digging for cast down. I assume he has 4 of them. Yep. Another Baffling End.
I march into battle as your champion of justice.
Vigilance.
I will lend you my strength.
I think we just go after them now. Doubtful they have. So 3, 4. Yeah, we'll let them dig. They have Craving. Did we misplay that? We did. We let that happen. We got it on camera too. We let that happen. Wow, it's amazing. And now we will maybe lose? Oh my god. So stupid. And that's how you end up losing games. You end up making stupid attacks because they end up having moments craving. There's your cast down. Can't do shit about that now. It's so bad. And now we lose. There's like nothing you can do about that. Like, had the 1 of card. Yep. Guy played so bad. Deserved that loss.
Prepare for battle.
If we did an attack with that, I think this would have blown out. He'd be at 7 right now. Yeah, that's game because he's just gonna fetch it up. What a silly loss. What a silly loss that was. Again, like, you end up losing to yourself with this deck. You end up making silly calculations and miscalculations with that. It just ends up being what it is when you remove the only card that's actually stopping them, like Tocatli. There's no need to attack there, because if he ends up having the Moment's Grave, and this is where you become like a great Magic player, other than just being a top decker, pretty much, then you always have to assume that the worst case scenario is that they do have a Moment's Craving in their hand when it comes to removing your creatures, because they were digging hard for cast down. Why they weren't playing Moment's Craving, they're probably just a better player. And it's just one of those things that ends up happening. So always play around that, and don't make the mistake I made. Otherwise, we could have gone to game 3, and it would have been pretty decent, because he was naming cast down, cast down, cast down. So who knows why that was the target. It probably should have just been Command the Dreadhorde or something else that would have been more relevant, or just taken Teferi and just bounced. So who knows, maybe he was misplaying as well. So yeah, with that, that was good. So this is an update to the mono white deck. It's just the Mythic version that was played. We didn't encounter anything other than 2 Command the Dreadhorde decks, and everything else to that effect was that weird, funky girl. And I think we really punted away that game 2 just now. There could have been a better line than sending in both things as that. So not too bright. So with that, I feel like we need to do some pack openings. Alright, we need 4. So we'll go home. Let's see how many close we have. 4 more until we get a pack, so let's do 3 packs. Let's get some packs to cheer us up back up, because we outplayed ourselves. And that's what you're going to find. You're going to find that the white deck is going to outplay you more than anything else. So let's see what we get. First pack. First pack. Widespread Brutality. Nothing special. Alright, next pack. Ajani the Gearhearted. And last one. Paradise. Obs. I don't know why they're running this one. I guess they're just worried about exile and stuff. Massacre Girl. So, sweet. Awesome. Well, that was it. Hope you guys liked this week's video and updates to the mono white deck, and then just my thoughts on it, kind of grinding through the ladder. At the end of the day, you just gotta kind of think through your actions more. Most of your stuff is on the board, and just doing a lot of quick math. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll see you guys next week on next Thursday for our video and article. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.